Have you ever stopped to think about the people you let into your life? Do they all really have good intentions? Imagine for a moment that someone you trust, someone with whom you share your deepest thoughts and most important moments, is actually secretly harming you. It may seem unthinkable, but the truth is that not everyone around us is aligned with our best interests. Today, we're going to delve into a topic that's both intriguing and disturbing: the most common signs that reveal a person's true character. The Stoics taught us the importance of living according to reason and virtue, and part of that is knowing how to discern who we are connecting with. The people around us have the power to influence our inner peace, our happiness, and even the direction of our lives. Some people, unfortunately, carry with them not only the intention to hurt, but the habit of causing disorder and chaos. They can disguise themselves as friends, colleagues, or even family members, and this disguise is so convincing that we often only realize it when we are already in the middle of the turmoil they cause. But how can we protect our emotional balance and our life against these negative influences? Like the Stoics, we must be attentive to the signs, notice the patterns, and not be fooled by beautiful words or momentary attitudes. Understanding these signs isn't just a philosophical curiosity, it's a practical necessity for anyone who wants to live a life of tranquility and purpose. Throughout this video, we'll explore together the 5 most common signs that can alert us to a person's true nature. All have their degree of importance, but the last one is the most dangerous. So stay away from him. Moreover, we are not here to judge or condemn, but to understand, to be more aware and, above all, to protect what is most valuable, our inner peace and our well-being. First sign: toxic people. Have you ever felt trapped in a web of subtle manipulations, where, with each passing day, it seems that your confidence in yourself and the people around you wears away a little more? This type of situation can be caused by someone who sneakily seeks to control, lie, and isolate. These are not just negative characteristics of a person. These are the signs of behavior that can profoundly undermine your peace of mind and destroy the foundation of healthy relationships. Imagine someone who, under the guise of caring about you, starts criticizing the people around them. This person may say things like your friends don't really care about you or your family is toxic. Initially, this may seem like advice or a genuine concern, but over time, you realize that you are increasingly isolated, dependent on this individual for support and companionship. This is a dangerous game, where the aggressor deliberately seeks to distance you from those who could offer you a clearer vision or more honest support. Isolation is a powerful tactic, used to weaken your resistance and decrease your chances of seeking help. The Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, have always emphasized the importance of surrounding oneself with a community that empowers, supports, and contributes to personal growth. They recognize that isolation is detrimental, not only to our well-being, but to our ability to resist negative influences. Seneca, for example, taught that we should face our fears and never allow others to dominate us through fear or intimidation. For him, true courage lies in standing firm in the face of threats and reclaiming our own power, while always maintaining our autonomy and independence. And then, when confronted by someone who constantly threatens or intimidates, what to do? This controlling behavior is not just a preference for having things your way, it is a calculated attempt to undermine their ability to make choices and live by their own principles. The Stoics warn us that these attitudes represent a direct attack on our personal freedom, something we must protect with all our might. Second sign: those lie. Another dark aspect of a bad person is pathological lying. This isn't the occasional lie we've all told at some point, it is a repeated behavior, where the person manipulates facts, distorts reality, and fabricates stories to benefit themselves, often for no apparent reason. This kind of dishonesty not only destroys trust, but it creates an alternate reality where you can never be sure what's true and what's invention. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great masters of Stoicism, argued that living in harmony with nature means aligning our actions with truth and reason. Pathological lying, therefore, is a direct affront to these principles, a poison that erodes the integrity of any relationship. But how can we protect our balance in the midst of so much dishonesty and manipulation? Epictetus, another Stoic sage, teaches us that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions. We cannot change the nature of others, but we can choose how we react to their attempts at manipulation. We must be attentive and critical, not accepting everything we are told, but seeking the truth with vigilance and thoughtfulness. When confronted with a lie, observe the person's reaction. Do they become defensive? Do they act aggressively? These behaviors are clear indicators that we are dealing with someone who prefers manipulation to honesty. Therefore, if you suspect that you are in a relationship with someone who exhibits these signs, whether it is friendship, family, or love, it is crucial to recognize these patterns and take steps to protect their integrity. Set clear boundaries, assert your independence, and seek support from people who truly care about you. Imagine a situation where you confront someone for their dishonesty. You catch that person in a lie, and instead of admitting your mistake, they try to reverse the blame, causing you to question your own perception of the facts. Or, instead of apologizing, she offers an explanation that seems reasonable but in reality is just another cog in her elaborate web of lies. This behavior is a classic trait of a liar, someone who, instead of correcting his actions, sinks further into his falsehoods. The Stoics, masters of reason and mental clarity, would advise us to remain calm and rational in the face of such behavior. They would teach us to recognize what is happening, without allowing it to provoke or destabilize us. After all, one of the central lessons of Stoicism is mastery over our own reactions, not letting the actions of others disturb our inner peace. It is essential, therefore, to maintain serenity and not be dragged along by the emotional manipulation of a bad person. The long-term impact of dealing with someone like this can be devastating. Lying, over time, erodes the very foundation on which any healthy relationship is built, trust. Once trust is broken, it becomes almost impossible to restore. You may find yourself in a constant state of distrust, always wondering if you're being scammed again. This creates a toxic cycle of doubt and resentment, which consumes anyone's emotional and mental energy. The Stoics have always valued building relationships that are strong and based on honesty and mutual respect. When dealing with someone who exhibits these signs of manipulation and lying, you should ask yourself, is it worth trying to rebuild that trust, or is it healthier to distance yourself from this toxic influence? This is a deeply personal decision, but it's essential to protect your mental and emotional well-being. You need to be clear about what you will and won't tolerate in your relationships, and communicate this assertively. It is not about being harsh or cruel, it's about respecting yourself and making sure others respect you too. For example, if you have a friend who constantly belittles or disrespects you, you may need to say something like, "I value our friendship, but I can't tolerate being treated this way. If this continues, I will need to distance myself." This clarity is essential for maintaining your integrity and well-being, and it is in full alignment with Stoic teachings on the importance of virtue and inner peace. Maintaining consistency and enforcing these limits is also key. It's not enough to just state your limits once and expect everyone to stick to them without question. You must be persistent and firm, even when it is uncomfortable or difficult. Epictetus, in his Stoic wisdom, emphasized the importance of discipline and perseverance. By maintaining your boundaries consistently, you are showing self-respect and teaching others how you expect to be treated. If someone continues to cross your boundaries repeatedly, it's a clear sign that they don't respect you or your boundaries. At this point, you may need to reevaluate the relationship and consider whether it's worth maintaining that connection. Remember that, as the Stoics teach us, our primary responsibility is to our own virtue and well-being. Third sign, the unsympathetic. Empathy is what connects us to others in a genuine way. It is the ability to feel the pain of others, to understand the emotions of those around us, and to respond to them with care and consideration. It is this virtue that builds solid and meaningful relationships, that allows for mutual support in times of need. However, there are individuals who, although they may demonstrate a charming facade, completely lack this essential human quality. These individuals can be highly dangerous, as their lack of empathy not only damages relationships but can also cause profound damage to those who rely on them. Imagine yourself in a situation where you decide to open your heart to someone you consider close. You share a worry, a sadness, hoping to find some solace or at least a word of support. However, instead of receiving the understanding you expect, you are met with indifference, or worse, with sarcasm and mockery. This type of response not only aggravates your pain, but also exposes that person's true nature, someone unable to truly connect with the emotions of others. The Stoics, always attentive to virtue and character, emphasized the importance of compassion and understanding. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, spoke about the interconnectedness of humanity, highlighting that the well-being of others is intrinsically linked to our own. When we come across someone who demonstrates a clear lack of empathy, we should consider it a red flag. This is a behavior that not only reveals a character defect, but also suggests that this person may not be interested in nurturing a relationship based on respect and reciprocity. In addition to emotional indifference, another characteristic to observe is how these people react to the joy of others. An empathetic person rejoices in the happiness of others, while those who lack empathy may feel threatened or even resentful of the success or happiness of others. This is a behavior that the Stoics would quickly identify as harmful, as it reveals an inability to celebrate the common welfare, a fundamental principle for life and society. When noticing these signs, it is essential to apply Stoic discernment. This means observing not only the words, but the actions of these people over time. How do they treat others when they believe no one is watching? How do they react when they are not in the spotlight? It is in the small interactions, in the everyday moments, that the true character of a person is revealed. And if this revelation points to a lack of empathy, it is necessary to reconsider how close this person should be to your life. It is important to remember that it is not about judging quickly, but about protecting yourself and your values. A lack of empathy in a relationship can lead to a feeling of isolation, of not being understood or supported. This feeling can slowly erode your self-esteem and emotional well-being. Therefore, in recognizing these signs, the Stoics would advise us to take steps to distance ourselves or at least set clear boundaries, which protect our integrity. Fourth sign, the vengeful. Another crucial characteristic of a bad person is persistent resentment, which often manifests itself in a desire for revenge. While all of us, at some point, may feel hurt or anger, bad people cling to those feelings destructively. They can't forgive or move on, preferring to feed the grudge until it turns into actions that harm others. Stoicism teaches us that true power lies in our ability to control our reactions, not to be slaves to negative emotions. To feed resentment is to allow the poison of anger to eat away at us from within, destroying not only our relationships but also our inner peace. Think of someone who, instead of resolving a conflict in a mature and honest way, chooses to hold a grudge and seek revenge in a subtle and covert way. This person may act passive-aggressively, spread rumors, or even sabotage your opportunities, all with the goal of paying in kind. However, by doing so, she reveals her own weakness and lack of emotional control. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the best way to get revenge on an enemy is not to become like him. In other words, by refusing to engage in cycles of revenge, we keep our integrity and our mind clear. Recognize resentment and revenge as the poisons they are, and don't allow these behaviors to take over your life. Instead, focus on cultivating inner peace and wisdom, knowing that true power lies in standing above offense and moving forward with dignity. Fifth sign, the controller. Controlling behavior is another clear sign of a bad person, someone who seeks to exert dominance over all aspects of their life, often disguising that control under the cloak of worry or care. But, just as we saw with the lack of empathy and manipulation, it is crucial to realize that behind these actions is the desire for power and control, and not a true care for the well-being of others. Control often begins in a subtle way. Imagine a friend who, in a seemingly innocent way, insists on choosing where you go, what you do together, and even who you should or should not include in activities. At first, it may just seem like a strong preference or even an attempt to be helpful. But over time, you begin to realize that your own opinions and desires are constantly being ignored or dismissed. Phrases like "I know what's best for us" or "trust me, you'll have more fun if you do what I say" start to pop up frequently. It is not a mutual decision, it is an imposition disguised as concern. This form of control can extend to all types of relationships, and in more intimate contexts, it can become even more oppressive and dangerous. A controlling partner may begin monitoring your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and even dictate who you can and cannot relate to. They may review your messages, ask to see your phone, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This kind of constant vigilance creates an environment where you feel suffocated, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid conflict or retaliation. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, teach us that inner freedom and autonomy are fundamental, regardless of external pressures. To allow anyone to control these aspects of our lives is to relinquish our own freedom. Controlling behavior can also manifest itself in more insidious ways, such as through financial control. A partner or family member can take over all financial decisions, distributing money only when and how they see fit, keeping you dependent and without a say in your own finances. They can use arguments like "I take care of the money because you're not good with it," or "it's easier if I control everything." While this may seem practical or even protective, it actually deprives you of your financial independence, making it extremely difficult to get out of an abusive relationship or even claim your own choices. Here, Stoic philosophy again offers a valuable antidote. Self-sufficiency and wise management of one's resources are seen as essential virtues. When we allow someone else to control our finances, we hand over the key to our independence, which, for the Stoics, is a form of slavery that must be resisted at all costs. Isolation is another common tactic used by controlling individuals. They may try to cut you off from their support networks, pushing you away from friends and family with the excuse that they are the only ones who truly understand you. The intent here is clear: by weakening your bonds with other people, they strengthen their grip on you, making you increasingly dependent on them for emotional support and validation. This is especially dangerous because, as the Stoics remind us, we are social beings who flourish in community. Imposed isolation weakens our support network and makes us vulnerable to manipulation and abuse. When we recognize these controlling behaviors for what they really are, we realize that they have nothing to do with true care or concern. Rather, they are forms of manipulation designed to dominate and subjugate. This is where Stoic practice becomes essential. Staying vigilant, cultivating clarity of thought, and acting with integrity are all ways to resist these patterns of behavior. Setting firm boundaries and assertively communicating what is and isn't acceptable in a relationship are crucial steps to protecting your autonomy and well-being. As we wrap up this reflection, it's important to remember that identifying and dealing with bad people is not only a matter of survival, but also of preserving our inner peace and virtue. Stoic philosophy gives us the tools we need to maintain our integrity and strength in the face of adversity, without allowing the behavior of others to define us or lead us astray from the path we have chosen to take. If you are committed to changing your life, to becoming more resilient, more aware, and more serene, I invite you to explore the other videos we have prepared. In them, we dive even deeper into the teachings of the great masters of Stoicism, offering insights that can transform the way you think and act. Each video is a fundamental piece for those who want to live with purpose, freedom, and balance.